Okay, so here we are for our block coding practice. This first direction is the beginning. Just talk about how what we're going to do with the block coding and our VexVR activities is going to be very similar, and like I mentioned before, to the sandwich algorithm activity that we did at the beginning of the quarter. You're going to have to remember, how specific you need to be, order of instructions, and basically just being as clear as you can possibly be. One new thing I do want to point out here is the term troubleshooting. It's another one of our vocab words. Basically, troubleshooting is when you write a line of code or you write an algorithm and you expect it to work out perfectly, exactly how you planned, and it doesn't. What you'll then have to do is go back and troubleshoot. You go line through line of the code. It can get a little tedious, so that's why we want to try to be careful when we're first writing our code. But you will have to test each line to see if it is correct or not. And then you'll find out where you messed up. Sometimes it's you are turning the wrong direction, you're not moving a far enough distance, maybe you're just missing a whole line of code entirely, but troubleshooting is how we solve the problems within our code or within our algorithm. So the next thing you'll have to do for this activity is scroll down to this table here. This table has all of the basic commands that we're going to be using for VexVR. We use most of these in almost every single activity we're going to do. So you have a list of a couple basic ones. And we also have this term playground right here, which I'll show you where to find that in a minute. The playground is where you can see the 3D view or see your algorithm actually played out and see the robot driving around. So once you have this opened up, and then you also have the VexVR open up from the link that I've shared with you, we're ready to get started. First, we're going to see on our left side here, we're going to have all of the different commands that we could possibly be using. We have our driving ones, turning. You're going to use this robot pen command a lot right here. We're also going to have, we're going to talk about the repeat command today and a couple other of these. And you'll see we'll add more and new commands as we go from activity to activity. When you're ready to place a command, you're going to have to drag it in. Right now, it is not part of my algorithm. It will then have to be connected to this when started. So that means when we hit the play button, this is what's going to run. You can see there's kind of a shadow there to see it's going to snap in. And you're also going to hear that clicking noise. If you want to get rid of commands or you put the wrong one, pick it up, drag it back to the left, and release, and it goes away. The last thing I want to show you here is this playground. Or here is our playground right here. I usually keep mine off to the right side. That way you can see your code and you can see your playground play out as you simulate the activity. You can open it up with this top right button here. You can hit playground, it'll open up. And then for each activity, there may be a different playground we need to be in. This is the grid map, but there's this whole drop-down menu of options, and each activity will tell you which playground you need to be in. So please make sure that you're in the correct one. Then when you write your code, you can then come over here at the play button. Nothing's written, so it's not going to do anything. And it'll simulate your algorithm. After it runs through, hit restart, and you can do it again and make changes if you need to. So let's look at some of the commands we're going to use. First, drive forward for 200 millimeters. In this command, we're going to be able to not only drive forward, 200 millimeters is our given distance, we can change that. First, our drop-down menu of forward, we can also make it reverse. And we're going to be working in millimeters. You can do inches, but none of our activities we want to do that. We're going to keep it in millimeters. And then the distance you can change. So right now we have 200 millimeters. Let's say 600 millimeters. Okay, so if that's what I want for my algorithm, I can come over again to my playground, hit play. And we see the robot drive 600 millimeters. It stopped running, so we're going to hit stop, and I'll restart it. Our next command, turning. All right, so now only are we going to drive, but say we want to turn to the right. We're going to work in degrees with this. You can turn right or left, and most of the time we're going to be turning 90 degrees, but every once in a while we may have to change this. And you can edit it with the drop-down menu and changing the white zone here and typing in a new number the same way as the distance. So let's come over, let's add, we're gonna turn right. Since we're on the edge of the playground, we can't really turn left. So we're gonna turn right for 90 degrees, and that's a given. We can just drop that in. And then we'll drive forward, let's say 400 millimeters, just to kind of see a couple of these commands work together. When I hit play here, I also want you to notice on the left side, as our robot is completing a certain command, as it moves from step to step, that step that it is currently doing is going to be highlighted green. So this is going to show you what is currently running, and then when we move to the next step, the next one will be highlighted. This will help us for the troubleshooting part, because if you see your robot simulated and all of a sudden it messes up, you'll be able to tell what step you were on when it messed up. So keep an eye out for that as well. Hit play, so you start to move. Here you can see the flashing green. All right, returning right, and then it moves from command to command and highlights it green, and our robot will drive it. Some other views that we can see. This is the top view. This is what you're going to need to submit screenshots of. We can also see a 3D view here. It's kind of cool. Let's restart that. We'll go to the 3D view, and you can see the robot drive around. But really, whatever your preference is, we're mostly going to be in this top view. Okay, so now we've done drive forward. We've turned. You can turn left if you wanted. Next, we have set drive velocity to a certain percentage. Right now, our robot is set to 50% automatically, meaning it's only driving and turning at 50% of the speed. Now, to speed up our process, we're going to actually be setting it to 100%. It doesn't go faster than 100%, but we can go to 100. So set drive velocity. We can also set our turn velocity. So when the robot's turning, it'll turn faster. Click in the white zone to change our number. Instead of 50, let's do 100. And I hit simulate, you're going to see it's going to go a lot faster this time. You can see the robot's moving, turning a lot quicker. And this will be good for when we do have really long lines of code. It'll speed up the process a lot. Next, we have move robot pen down. Okay, well, you're going to need to use this in almost every single activity we do. This is going to allow us now, it's going to basically take our robot here, and it's going to put a pen right in the bottom of it. So now, as I drive, it will trace a line on our playground of where the robot travels. This is going to be helpful so I can see the path that it took, make sure that you coded it to make the correct path. Otherwise, all I'll see is your robot's starting position and your robot's ending position. I don't know any of the in-between. So you need to make sure you're adding this move robot pen tool for each activity. So we're going to move robot pen down. This is saying, okay, once I place this, the pen is going to be on the paper or on the playground, and it'll start tracing it. If you don't want it to trace, you can hit the drop down and put up, but we want it to be down. And we want this to be down before we even move, so that way it traces all of our movements. So we're going to put this right at the beginning. Let's simulate. See, okay, it's moving the pen down, set our velocities, and you can see this black line was then traced of where our robot traveled. That helps you, and that helps me. The next thing we can do with the pen, not only can we move it down, we can change the color. There's a couple different options for color. Some of these are just for fun. Some of the activities specify certain colors you need to use. The robot pen color is right below or down. So here's our move robot pen down. Here's set robot pen color to. We can look at our options right now. It's at black. We can do red, green, or blue also. Let's do blue. And we're going to do this as soon as we put it down. We're going to change the color before tracing our line. Simulate, it'll do the same thing, but it should be a blue line. There you go, you can see the blue line. Okay. For our last command, we're going to have the repeat. Okay, so basically this is going to allow us to take whatever we write as a command, and if we want to do it more than once, rather than placing all of these again here, we can say, all right, repeat this for 3 times or something. And it'll make our line of code a lot simpler to read, follow, and troubleshoot if we need to. Okay, so repeat. We can change the number of times to repeat. So we're going to scroll down. Now we're in these yellow ones here, control. We can do, one option is forever. It'll keep doing this until we hit stop. For now, we're going to use this repeat. Okay, so we're going to repeat all of the code that we have right up here. So I'm going to place the repeat in. You kind of put all the code inside of it. We're going to place it at the bottom. And if you look, you can see the shadow as I drag up. It scoops up what we want to be inside. And you can adjust that as you need to. I'm holding down the left button on my mouse and dragging to what I want. So let's do all of the movements. Okay. So right now the pen color is going to be down, the color is going to be blue. That's not going to repeat. It'll stay the same for the whole simulation. And for then we can adjust our drive forward, turn right, drive forward. Okay, so let's say we're going to do, let's make a square. So if there's 4 sides to a square, we want to repeat this 4 times. So we're going to drive forward for 600, turn right for 90. Okay, we can actually take this command out. So now this is saying it's going to set our pen down, change the color to blue, set drive and turn velocity to 100, drive forward for 600 millimeters, and then turn right. And it's going to repeat that 4 times. Okay, so this should make a square if we did it correctly. There's 1, and now it's repeating it the 2nd time, repeating it the 3rd, repeating it the 4th. And when it hits that 4th time, it's not going to keep moving because we've gone through our whole algorithm, and we can see our square. Okay, so I hope this is kind of helpful, playing around with some of the basic commands. You're going to see all these again multiple times. So please, if you're struggling or confused or have questions on what they do, how to get them, please let me know, because again, you will see these in almost every activity. So I do not want you to struggle with them. Make sure you go through and then answer this last conclusion question here. Again, relating this activity and our block coding back to the sandwich algorithm. If you have any questions, let me know. Other than that, thanks for watching.